I don't really talk to the team a lot after games, and I didn't tonight. I always like to win or lose. I like to go back and think about stuff and see stuff. And, what we talk a little bit about is we all do this together. We win together and we lose together. We will learn from this game. And they are the Cleveland Cavaliers, former NBA champs for a reason. And we'll learn from this.
What was the difference in this game from all the way that you guys had been playing leading up to this?
I think if you go back to, say, the third period, and I don't remember the exact time, but I believe we cut it to 3. And I think Joe scored, and we cut it to 3, and then, Korver comes down and bam, and then Channing Frye comes down and bam, and then, we had a turnover along the baseline, and they punished us, I think, with a back cut by Jeff Green. And you could feel the game just pivot. And it reminded me a little bit of at Golden State. We look up and it's 76, 74, and earlier than 3 minutes, probably 5 minutes, but thereabouts, and the game pivots. And teams like that do that to you. We didn't play well. We didn't play well on either side of the ball. We give them credit. We give them credit, but we go away feeling like this is not who we are. This isn't who we are.
You say you learned something from this game. What do you think the biggest lesson is?
I think that defensively, when teams feel us, and when it's simplistic, but it's the best way I can explain it. If you had a ball and you weren't forced to turn away from me or raise the ball above your shoulders, then you're not close. I'm not close enough. And with LeBron and Dwayne, they put you in that bind because, you got to give up something. And sometimes just kamikaze pressure and there's so good penetration doesn't sort of intellectually make that much sense. It doesn't seem that smart. But that's who we are. We need to pressure. We need to be more active and disruptive. And they need to feel us, and they didn't. And I think that's the first thing that comes to my mind of how you can, still try to play our style and be smart.
Plus 105, and it didn't just outplay your bench. I mean, they were more than holding their own against your starters. They have a lot of veteran, guys who've been there, I guess.
Oh yeah, I mean, look at Korver, Channing Frye, Dwayne Wade, Jeff Green's a good player, and they're a good team. I think Ty does a great job coaching them. They play late in May and June, lots of years in a row, and they're good for a reason. They started out the year and probably felt bored, then all of a sudden, they have some team meetings and remember who they are and read their resumes and win 7 in a row and now 8 in a row, and we felt all of that. I give them, a bunch of credit for us to be able to have played Golden State, a few times, and Houston a few times, and now Cleveland. That's royalty. That's NBA elite. And tonight we did not play our best basketball at all. You're all going to look down and see what did we shoot from threes. We were 3 from. It's hard to do that. We were 3 from 28 from threes, and on both sides of the ball we struggled.
Do you have a sense of why it was so difficult for you guys to shoot from deep tonight?
I think it's just one of those nights. We're the 9th best team shooting threes in the NBA. I don't think there are many shots that you would look at that you'd say that's a terrible shot. I'll go back and see that and make that judgment. But in the game tonight, I felt like we missed clean looks. I want our guys shooting the ball. I thought we had a good balance of getting Joel touches and still looking at perimeter opportunities. But it just wasn't meant to be tonight. We did not shoot the 3 especially well.
What's the status of Ben's ankle?
We're learning about it. I really don't know. I walked by him. He had some foot in ice, and I don't know that, Keith.
What did you think about the matchup between him and LeBron early on?
I mean, it's always interesting. I think for me, You're seeing one of your old players that you coached, son, who's in a 76 uniform, going against LeBron, and the respect I know Ben has for LeBron, and the fact that, they're represented by the same people and they hang out in the summer. And I thought, it looked like it should be. It didn't look unnatural. Ben and LeBron, LeBron and Ben, it didn't look unnatural. I think the more you just watch LeBron play, I mean, he plays with such a confidence and pace. Now it's backed up by a three-point shot and skill package. It's just a hard guard. But watching those two together from that standpoint interests me.
You mentioned the defense and the tightness of it. It seemed like they had some success with that high ball screen early on and making you guys play in traffic. Is that just a young team communicating, or is that
a little bit? I thought where they hurt us the most was playing out of the post and passing out of the post. You see the teams that go to the post to pass more than go to the post to score. Golden State is one of them. And, they drop it down into their big wings, Jeff Green, Dwayne Wade, LeBron James, Kevin Love, and then there's a lot of action around that, with Korver being used as one of the primary backside screen setters. And because he's so elite a shooter, like you're really worried to get disconnected, and then he frees up people, then he comes and gets it. And I think that action was the action that hurt us the most to me.
Speaking of the post, Joel had 31 points. He had that great third quarter, but it seemed like he was kind of settling for shots in a way that you might not have expected in the first half. What did you think of his offensive game?
I think that he's got such a variety of abilities that to think like, oh, you're 7'2", like just be a back to the basket post player and you're just Shaquille O'Neal, is at times, what I want him, to be, but I recognize he can do so much more. And when you look at the metrics, like they are efficient shots. His ISO, his turn and face at what we call the Malone line, is a 51% shot. I thought he did a really good job of mixing up different looks, from perimeter to the ISO to getting deep catches on paint touches. I thought his third period was especially effective. I'm always challenged because you feel like the game's in the balance, and normally I don't sub him like I did in the third period. I get him out quick, and then I bring him back to end the period, and you could just feel like he was rolling, the game was about to change, and it did. We got it to 3. And I thought that his third period had a greater variety and especially tilted toward paint touches more than the first half.
You find this team to be an especially difficult defensive matchup with Love and Fry pulling Joel away from the rim, and just having so many 6'6", 6'7" guys that make it kind of difficult across the board?
Completely. They are a very unconventional team in a bunch of ways. They're very unconventional, especially the way they start with Kevin Love at a 5, and to your point, lots of variety, versatility with big wings. They make you stay up late at night wondering how you're going to guard different pick and roll situations. I said to the room earlier, like you're always trying to string a line through simplicity so the players aren't hearing, calculus on different ways you got this pick and roll and that pick and roll. You want to find something that sort of has a symmetry and a sound reasoning of how you're going to guard a pick and roll to start with. And I felt like we did do that, but I didn't think we did it with much pressure. And your point about Kevin Love being, pulling Joel out is true. And, that's a difficult assignment for Joe.
Thank you, Brett.
Thank you.